All right, well, welcome back to the shop. I'm putting the Adirondack chair that I just finished staining together and wanted to share a couple tips on how I'm doing this to get this thing nice and square. First off, I'm using my table saw um, as a flat surface. Okay, so that thing's sitting on there flat, and the first thing I did was I squared up my two front legs. This chair here is 22 inches apart. So what I did was I put one of my seat slats in here first. Then I put another seat slat at the bottom, kind of squeezed this together, straighten it out. And I think I screwed the seat slat in first. And then I did the front piece second. And then I went to the back, and on that back, I'm going to call it the back seat slat. This piece here, this goes behind all the vertical backrest pieces. Then I put that in. That ties my two legs together. Now here's the trick that I want to show that I just figured out, or I've been working on in the last two chairs. So basically, when you put this thing together, what you want are these legs, or not legs, these arm rests in the exact position on each side. Okay, so I know James at King's Fine Woodworking, he would use a plumb bob and then attach it to the back here and plumb down and then measure from the leg, this, that, and the other thing. I've tried that a few chairs. It just, for me, it's a pain. So what I did was I came up with this design. If you can see back there, is I have a T-square, just a drywaller's T-square. Okay, and then I attached a square piece of plywood to it with just a couple, I drilled a couple holes, put a couple drywall screws in it, so now this thing kind of stands by itself on the table, this drywall square. All right, so then what I'm doing is I got a little light pressure with a clamp in the back here. I have a spacer here that's 19 inches, which is the inside distance that it should be up front, right? And that should translate to the back. Okay, so now that I have this thing pretty squared up, I got it on my table saw. I got the legs butted up against the fence, right? So that helps square it up. I got a little light pressure on the clamp here, just holding the legs together. I modified my drywaller T-square, and then I just slide it over side to side till it hits the bottom leg assembly. Then I come up and I go 3/4 of an inch from that edge to the arm. Okay, see from the back here. Sorry, folks. Right, so that's 3/4 of an inch. So now I just take a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and I put it in there, and that gives me the correct distance on both sides. Slide that over, just touch the bottom leg there. It stands straight up. You don't have to have a second hand here. And I just take that piece of plywood and I slide it in. Right, I'll move this one over just a little bit. But what I did in order to maneuver these arms is the first screw hole that I put in, or first screw that I put in, is my pivot point. So I get my arm set, right, with the right distance here, and then front to back. That's all the exact same on both sides because I made a jig that'll hold them right on the 2x4, and then you just put your first screw in. But that enables it now to pivot and get it adjusted. Once I got it adjusted, I can either put my second hole or second screw in, and that'll hold it, which is probably not a bad idea, and then I can work on that back piece. So, but that's kind of the way that I'm doing this, is my point of reference is off of the inside of the legs, all the way as far back as I can get my drywall square back there, right? So again, I know this video sucks, but mostly it's for me. Remember how the heck I did this, because the next time I build one of these, I'll be like, what did I do? So again, I just bump it up down there, and then come up. There's my single pointer, or my my point of reference to that. There's my distance. So no more plumb bobs. That was just a pain in the butt. So I don't know. Hope you liked the tip. Make yourself one. Let me know how you did. Talk to you later.